The LA Rams are taking a chance on former All-Pro cornerback Tre'Davious White. White signs with the LA Rams for a one-year, $8.5 million deal for 2024 with a max of $10 million. And this contract is going to come down to, is Tre'Davious White the same player? Can he get back to a valuable cornerback in the NFL? So in this breakdown, I will discuss whether I believe Tre'Davious White still has anything left, if I think this is a good move by the Rams, if I think this is a bad move by the Rams, and more. Gronk, spike the like button. Leave your opinion in the comment section below. And let's discuss Tre'Davious White to the Rams. Tre'Davious White, once upon a time, a first-round pick, became almost immediately an awesome cornerback in the NFL. Shut down one side of the field for the Buffalo Bills. Was the lockdown cornerback for one of the best defenses in football from about 2017 through 2021. Around that range, Tre'Davious White became one of the top 5 corners in football and arguably the best zone cornerback in the NFL at one time. Throughout his young career, he was looking like a perennial Pro Bowl talent, a multi-time All-Pro. You look at his career, he was an All-Pro in 2019. He was 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He was 2nd in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting in 2017. He was a multi-time Pro Bowler in 2019 and 2020. Now, it's been a couple of seasons, and if you're wondering, has Tre'Davious White fallen off? Not exactly. It's mostly been due to injury why Tre'Davious White has fallen off. He has been extremely, and I'm talking extremely unlucky when it comes to injuries. But there's a curveball that we have to throw into this conversation. Tre'Davious White has, of course, dealt with some injuries. And the Bills had to face a tough decision when it came to the future of White and the Bills, because this is a guy that they didn't want to get rid of. This is Tre'Davious White, a player that has been one of the guys on their defense, one of the builders of their culture, one of the premier players, one of the most beloved players of their fan base. So there's no way they wanted to get rid of him. But the injuries, the money, then the age creeping up, and the cap space of Buffalo really made it that they had to get rid of him. He just wasn't available enough to pay him that type of money. But the curveball here is that it wasn't a Bills doctor that recovered and helped recover Tre'Davious White from this Achilles injury, which is the most recent injury he's had. He's had multiple significant injuries as of late. But he was able to come back from the last one and then re-damage it once again. That being said, it was a Rams team doctor. The name is Neil, who helped perform surgery on Tre'Davious White and really is now kind of helping him recover, bounce back from this injury, and get healthy. So that's interesting. That changes the perspective for me. If the team that has inside information with the team doctor that performed the surgery on the player is signing him, then there's some sort of deal where perhaps that doctor told the team, this went pretty well. Like, the surgery went well. He looks good. I think he's going to be able to come back and perform at least a fairly high level once he returns. So let's take a chance, because mathematically speaking, as a doctor, I believe that he'll be able to make it back. So when discussing it, it changes. If White would have signed with the Giants or the Niners or the Jets or somebody else, just a random team, that would have changed this whole conversation. Maybe there's more risk involved. This is more of a gamble. This is more of a calculated gamble, right? And the LA Rams have no problem with the calculated gamble, especially when you think about the way their team is built. This is Matthew Stafford at his older age. This is Cooper Kupp getting up there a little bit and getting worn down. This is a team that perhaps is on a little bit of a last ride. Like they're on one side, kind of on their last ride, but at the other point, they've got a lot of young players mixed in as well. So it's one of these teams where if they can hit on maybe a fragile build where a lot of their players have a lot of upside, like Tre'Davious White, they come in and they perform, and they get maximum potential out of some of these assets, they could be a real contender in the NFC. But if they don't perform, let's say White gets hurt again, it's not like it's a huge gamble, right? It's a 1-year deal. Sure, it's $8.5 million, up to $10 million. That's incentive based. But, okay, we missed on that. That's not a big deal. You understand what I'm saying? So if they want to make it to the Super Bowl, if they want to push to the playoffs, if they want to do something in 2024, especially with Aaron Donald retiring, why not take a chance on a guy that was an all-pro? Why not take a chance on a guy that could really upgrade one of our positions, perimeter corner, and could really make our secondary a lot stronger than last year? When you look at their secondary now, this is a Rams secondary that has real talent. Like last year, they were kind of a bunch of no-names. Ahkello Witherspoon was like the guy that played the most snaps at cornerback for them last year. But now you look at it and you've got Darius Williams coming back, who had a nice season for Jacksonville last year and has been a good number 2 corner for a majority of his career. Cameron Curl is a nice young safety, which I think upgrades the safety position. You got Tre'Davious White there on one side as well, potentially. You've got Quentin Lake, Kendrick, Durant as well in the mix as depth. Maybe they'll continue to add to the safety position. I can't really understand why they didn't bring back Fuller personally. But I do think that, okay, we lose Aaron Donald. Let's just enhance our secondary even more. Let's make our coverage even better. He is going to be 29 years old this year. He turns 30 next January. So he's not 30 quite yet, but he's only played 10 games in the last 2 years, right? In the year before that, he got hurt. He played 11. So he's played 21 games, which is an average of about 7 games in 3 seasons. He hasn't been really healthy since 2020, where he was a second-team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. So that was the last time he was at his best. And the Bills have missed him on the field. And he has not been reliable because of injury for the Buffalo Bills. But when you look at this contract as compared to the last one, this is a 1-year deal. This is looking for ceiling. This is searching for a team with an older quarterback that's trying to make 1, 2, or 3 more runs at it, right? They've got their Super Bowl, but they're still trying to go for it. Why not? We got Matthew Stafford here. So why not try, right? So these type of swings, I never hate. And then you dive a little bit deeper into his numbers. According to Pro Football Reference, he's never allowed a passer rating above 79, which is insane. Even last year, he allowed a passer rating of 70.6 in 4 games. The year before that, 75.8. The year before that, 59.9. The year before that, 79.9. The year before that, 43.3, which was 2019, his best season of his career. And then 71.8 in his rookie season. The guy has been elite pretty much every time he's been on the field. According to Pro Football Focus's grades, 5th as a rookie, 88th in 2018, which is kind of confusing to me, 16th in 2019, 31st in 2020, 44th in 2021, 81st in 2022, and then a 68 in 2023, which is closer to his form in 2020 and 2019 than it was in 2022 or 2021. That's at least according to their grades. And he did have a 79 coverage grade last year, which is pretty high. His wide cornerback snaps, he's always been a wide corner, a perimeter corner, 153 snaps. Last year, he rarely plays in the slot, if ever. He was a LSU Tiger, drafted in the first round, 27th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft. 5'11". Looks bigger than that on the field, to be fair. I've always felt like he was 6 foot plus when I watched him play. But he's going to fit the system, right? The Rams are going to keep their continuity, I would believe, on defense, even without Raheem Morris. They're going to run somewhat of a similar defense of what they've ran under Brandon Staley, Raheem Morris. Slight variations, but a lot of zone coverage, probably a lot of quarters coverage, probably some cover 3, right? Maybe a little cover 2. And I think Tre'Davious White is going to thrive because he is a really good zone corner. If he's healthy and he's on the field, and considering the injuries, what you don't want him to be doing is playing a lot of man coverage, because then you're maybe putting his physical limitations on display. But if you're going to lean into zone coverage, you're going to lean into some dynamic blitzes up front and some, pressure packages up front, and having creeper pressures with zone droppers and all that sort of stuff, and then simulated pressures up front with zone coverage behind it. That's the type of defense that Tre'Davious White will thrive in. On top of that, I've always felt like at his best, he could lock down one side of the field. Kind of similarly to a Richard Sherman. Although they're zone-based cornerbacks, their ability to break on the football, their ability to have range as a corner, their ability to read the quarterback, their ability to just see the picture of the offense, read and react to what the offense is doing in terms of progression, in terms of route concepts, in terms of read, react on the ball, just dynamic. And then I think why White looks bigger than he is because he's always had extremely long arms, which makes him effective in press coverage and makes him able to, get his hands in front of a receiver, break up passes, and things of that nature, be physical at the line of scrimmage. So very good zone player, very heady player, very smart player, high IQ. He's going to bring, I think, leadership to the back end, I think experience to the back end, and I think he fits what they currently do very well. On top of that, I think it's good for White to go to a place with a strong culture, with a strong head coach. In his rehab, he wants to feel the love. He wants to feel love and passion for football. It would not feel right for White to go somewhere where he was not on a contending team, where he was on a team that was maybe a little bit depressing, right? Not the best culture to be in when you're rehabbing. When you're with the Rams, you're like, wow, look at this team. We look real good. Like, we got Stafford, we got Kupp, we got Puka Nacua, look at our offense, man. Then we got Sean McVay with his energy that he brings every day. And then we've got some young defensive players I want to play with. We got Darius Williams on the other side. Like, just seeing that as you're rehabbing and get going and like feeling that energy. That's what Tre'Davious White is going to want and I think is going to love. So this is a team now, when you look at them on paper, I think they're one of the 3 or 4 best in the NFC. Even despite losing Aaron Donald, I think they're going to be extremely competitive if they can stay healthy. And Tre'Davious White could end up being an X-factor piece to this team. I wouldn't expect him to be a big-time baller. I wouldn't expect him to be a Pro Bowler. I wouldn't expect him to be an All-Pro. But I would expect Tre'Davious White to be somebody, if he's on the field, to make a difference, to start and to make plays, and potentially give them a ceiling that they didn't have. So I want to see what the Rams continue to do here, because these were the moves I was expecting for them to make. Realizing what they were able to do with a young roster last year, now let's sprinkle in some high upside veterans that can add to our team. And that's exactly what Tre'Davious White is on a 1-year, $8.5 million deal. Maybe he's finished, maybe he's washed, maybe he can never get back to his form, but why not take a chance with a team like this? And that is my point. Gronk, spike the like button. Thank you for watching. It's Mitch. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.